The tranquil plains of Akagera Park in eastern Rwanda, interrupted by the arrival of tourists. Some have come all the way from New Zealand, like Mike. He says he's here thanks to football.
Watching football, you see the Visit Rwanda on a shirt.
I think the main thing, it just kind of reminded me that Rwanda was a place you could visit. I think that some people think of Rwanda and they still think of, the 90s, and so it kind of become an option again.
Capitalising on the popularity of major clubs like Arsenal and PSG is the latest scheme for Rwanda to rehabilitate its image and attract new tourists to the country. Betting on tourism has been paying off. This national park has reported a 25% revenue hike in just 1 year.
Oh, we came to Rwanda to see gorillas. I don't think we were expecting to see baboons at all.
In the park, tourists come to see a rare diversity of fauna. After a long day, Mike returns to his deluxe accommodation.
This is the western terrace with a volcano's view.
This isolated lodge was built nearly 16 years ago. Today, it costs over €1,000 to spend a night there. Some of this revenue goes back into the most remote regions here.
Hey, Mike, this is your new room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
My gosh. In the mountains too.
Building tourist infrastructure in this region has also meant that those living close by have been connected to the national grid.
For example, this family in the village, just below the lodge, you can see these wires and the electricity meter. Before they didn't have electricity, we counted over 276 families connected to this power line.
The government says this kind of luxury tourism provides some benefit to local people. They say their unusual strategy of a sponsorship deal with Paris Saint-Germain Football Club, said to cost between 8 and 10 million euros a year, will bring tourists to the farthest corners of the country and raise Rwanda's visibility on the international stage. But they won't reveal the exact cost of the deal.
It's got diverse fan base, not only in France, but globally. And now when you look at also the players themselves have individual, you have some players who have millions of followers over Instagram and other online platforms. So you can imagine now the kind of visibility that our destination is going to get from that.
In May 2018, Rwanda signed a similar deal for 34 million euros with the English club Arsenal. The Visit Rwanda logo is printed on the sleeves of the club jerseys, and the team also came to visit the country. It's well known that President Paul Kagame is a big Arsenal fan. The authorities here say there's been a 5% increase in tourism from the UK since the deal was signed. Part of the strategy is also to make Rwanda into a big player in international football. Arsenal organises training sessions for the country's up-and-coming players. Edric took part in the Arsenal clinic a year ago.
We were playing, there was a legend who came and trained us, gave us some advices that we should take in our daily life. And then we went in a camp for 1 week.
Not long after spending a week of intensive training with an Arsenal coach, Edric joined the Rwandan under-15s team. Today, Edric hopes to be spotted by a foreign recruiter, get experience in a big club to improve his game, and maybe one day represent his country.
Football can help to improve the measure because when we play, we increase our world ranking, and this will help other countries to show that Rwanda has evolved, although it's Black history.
If Rwanda is moving forward in some respects, some Rwandans who are exiled abroad are highly critical of its marketing strategy. Laurent runs a human rights group. 5 years ago, after criticising the government, he was forced to leave the country.
Rebuilding our country's image is a good thing. But if Rwanda could also invest in the respect and protection of human rights, I think that would also send out a good image. Political opponents who disappear. Our constitution that's been modified so the leader can stay in power. All those things that have happened in recent years have definitely not been sending out a good image to the world.
In Rwanda, where 39% of people still live below the poverty line, the government is betting big on tourism. According to official figures, around 1.8 million foreign tourists visited the country last year.